Welcome back to the Stroh Center. Great crowd on hand for this MAC championship rematch. Bowling Green up by 8. Let's walk you back down memory lane, take you back to the Q. Bowling Green, Eastern Michigan. Tournament MVP Lauren Prohaska led all scorers with 20 points. Tavalyn James led the Eagles with 19 on just 8 of 23 shooting. Eastern shot just 25% from the floor on that day. For Bowling Green, it was their 11th MAC tournament championship. The Falcons finished the season with a loss to Georgia Tech in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Eastern went on to the women's NIT, but they made the Sweet 16 before losing to Syracuse. Bowling Green finished at 28-5, Eastern at 24-13. So the three-point play completed. BG up by 9. Great pace here, Jack, early on.
Yeah, both teams are really getting after it, working hard. In tune with the game, great crowd on hand, and a good 30 minutes of basketball left.
Aisha Collins checked in off the timeout. And the ball turned over. BG with the basketball. One of the reasons for the early foul trouble, you can contribute to the pace of the game. Both of these teams are pushing the tempo.
Yeah, they're both working hard. I mean, attacking the rim type plays, and you can see there the tip basketball going out of bounds, and a savvy play by Stefan to send the ball back to Bowling Green.
Early foul troubles here for Eastern, with Olivia Foudy and Natasha Watkins both with 2. Three ball is knocked down as she was falling down. Jillian Halfhill.
Big shot, 4 for 6 now from three-point range is Bowling Green. And as we just look back at the clips from the game last year, that's one of the things that we saw was, you know, Prohaska and Stefan and Pontius really came through from behind the arc and made some big shots, and that's what we've seen out of Bowling Green here this afternoon.
Boy, and that has really helped them early as they've upped the lead to 12. 8 on the shot clock. Tavalyn James pulls the trigger. Read it over the back for the rebound, and then got the stick back. It was Harrison with the rebound, then read it. Tried to get the stick back. Bowling Green has the basketball up ahead. Pappenfuss is open, stripped on a play by Aisha Collins. And then tied up, it'll be Eastern's basketball. Good job by Collins to get back. It looked like Pappenfuss was gonna have an easy run at the basket. And a timeout for Bowling Green on the floor. Kurt Miller wants to talk this one over. Kurt Miller's squad coming into this game unbeaten in the East. Eastern Michigan 4-1 in the West, and three-pointers have been the key here early, Jackie.
They have. Matthews got things started off early by nailing one from the left wing, and Alexis Rogers even wanted to step out and bury one, and most recently Halfhill let it fly. And you know, this is a great environment to see it, but it's, you know, good players respond when they're focused, you know, show up. Big time players make big time plays in big games, and we're seeing that so far today as Bowling Green now shooting over 60% from the floor and from behind the arc. And when you're making shots, it just, Eastern Michigan just cannot go in transition and is a little bit out of rhythm then.
Great stat there you saw. Not a very good three-point shooting team. They're 9th in the conference, but they're 4 for 6 here this afternoon. That'll raise up your average as you take another look. It was last touched by Krista Steffens, so it'll be Eastern's ball. Olivia Foudy getting set to check back in with 2 fouls. And Logan Pastor has checked in for Bowling Green, the freshman from Uniontown, Ohio. So Foudy will inbound. We'll keep an eye on her, but they need her underneath for sure.
Yeah, that's you know, some coaches sometimes stick by that philosophy that if you have 2 fouls in the first half, that, you know, you're done for the half. But obviously keeping an eye on the score and knowing who needs to be on the floor for Eastern Michigan, you can't allow this lead to continue to grow, and hence Foudy back on the floor.
Foul away from the basketball. Desiree Thomas gets called for the foul. As you take another look.
Yeah, legal screen, and tried to check her with her elbow on the way out, and apparently you're not allowed to do that.
Turnover by the Falcons. So Eastern will get the basketball back, trailing by 12 here. Halfway through the opening half of basketball here from the Stroh Center. Mike Aarons, Jackie Winden. Our stop this week, Bowling Green, here on our MAC Women's Game of the Week on Sports Time Ohio. Glad you could join us here this afternoon. Tavalyn James looking for some room. The freshman checking her. Nearly thrown away by Reddit. Watkins on the save, gets the drive and gets her own rebound, then sticks it back up and in.
Eastern Michigan is keeping themselves in the basketball game by what they've been able to do on the glass and second chance points and staying active and climbing into this 10-point now BG lead.
Matthews, great dish to Rogers.
I have to say, Bowling Green looks like a different team than what we saw 3 weeks ago. They have turned it up a notch and they're playing much more fluent than what we saw from that kind of choppy game where they just, and I think that's a big part of that is when you're making shots. When you're scoring the basketball, it's easier to find a rhythm and to find a flow, and shooting over 60% so far. And they've definitely got a rhythm about them this afternoon.
Rogers comes up with the steal. 4 double-doubles in her last 5 games. Rogers working down low, and she traveled. Rogers and Paige Reddit, battle we've seen here early this afternoon. Reddit wins that one as you see Jess Slagle checks back in for the Falcons. Chrissy Steffen will take a seat.
And plants her left and then switches over.
Good call.
To the right. 9 offensive rebounds now for Eastern Michigan.
Thomas. So Watkins pulls up with the jumper. Reddit. Eastern's winning the loose balls, but you don't see it on the scoreboard. It's James on the drive and sticks it up and in.
We've seen 2 phenomenal hesitation moves. Slagle a couple minutes ago earlier at the other end of the floor, but James did a nice job of setting the defense, getting them to freeze, and then attacking baseline with the finish.
Rogers, she already hit once from that spot. And that one's out of bounds. Slagle gave chase, but it'll be Eastern basketball. Take a look at the drive by James.
Yeah, Matthews closed out a little too high and lost her balance, and by the time she caught up, James got her to freeze, and Rogers a little bit late on the help defense, and a nice job of using the glass and finishing for Tavelin James.
Yeah, that's not a young lady you want to lose anywhere in the traffic around the basket. She'll make you look silly in a hurry.
Pretty much once she comes off the bus and is in the arena.
If that was a horse shot, you wouldn't be able to repeat it. She just deadened it and it dropped in. That's what shooters do.
It turned to a knuckleball and it hit the back of the rim and dropped in.
That's what they call a shooter's roll right there, right, Jack? You shot a few three-pointers in your day. You would know something about that. 26-19. Steffen underneath. Lost the basketball, 12 seconds on the shot clock. Daniel Havel will check in for the first time here on the media timeout. We'll take a timeout, 7:26 left to go. The microwave, Tavelin James starting to heat up. Eastern closing the gap. They're down by 7.